All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a super packed, you guys wanted it, extra long episode of Group Chat. We are holding it down without drama today, and we are kicking it off with two interviews. Well, we start one with a Group Chat listener turned tech entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an incredible story.
Venture-backed tech entrepreneur.
Venture-backed entrepreneur. And you know, I think the story is amazing because he's a listener that reached out a few years ago. We built a relationship with him, and we were able to help him navigate a fundraise. And now, you know, building the next billion-dollar technology company is what's in sight. And I think it's an exciting story for all the listeners to hear. Then we get into some news. And then we're going to end with another special interview with Ian and Ian Rogers from Ledger and his colleague Parker, and we talk about some interesting things in the space, NFT New York, and then where you have to be at the end of in the next 2 weeks if you want to be in the crypto game, because if you're not there, it sounds like you're going to be missing out on a huge opportunity. So let's get into it.
Boom.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Group Chat. And today's this very special episode because, you know, we always talk about community and we talk about, you know, we've gotten so many DMs of people that have learned something from us and have built incredible businesses because of us or careers. And today is a listener turned startup entrepreneur, venture-backed.
Whew, sounds rich.
Venture-backed.
Venture-backed, which is...
Where's the Patek? Why are you rocking the Apple Watch?
Listen.
He doesn't have an exit yet.
Listen.
He doesn't have an exit yet.
Exit pending.
Exit pending. So we're joined by Maddy Sukoru here today. Welcome to the podcast, Maddy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, fellow Cathies. I'm one of y'all.
Yeah.
I'm representing y'all right now.
So you've been listening to the podcast, I think, pretty much from the beginning, right?
Yeah. Since Drama had the other pod that he ditched to start this one.
And so I met you, correct me if I'm wrong, it was about 3 years ago?
Yeah, like 3-4 years ago.
So you had messaged me on Instagram.
I sent the most desperate DM.
Yeah. and you were interested in talking to me about your watch business.
Yeah. That's still a phenomenal business, I would say. But yeah, that's
okay. And I remember you came to my office and, you know, you're a charming guy. You come in, you're telling me about, you grew up in LA and telling me about this watch idea. And I don't remember exactly what the idea.
No, you looked at me and said, yeah, you're not going to be able to sell this.
Yeah. and not because the idea was bad. I just knew the landscape of launching a watch brand or watch business similar to a clothing business.
Yeah.
It's not that I want to discourage people in going into these businesses. As someone that's been in these businesses for a very long time, it's really fucking hard.
I respect it because immediately I was like, oh shit. I mean, if D says I can't sell it, D sells everything. I probably can't sell it.
Yeah. And so, you know, most people don't listen to my advice. Most people just go on with their day and continue on doing whatever they were doing.
The path to failure.
Path to failure, correct. And then I don't hear from you for a while. You know, I think you came to some events, maybe a DM here and there.
Yeah.
But, you know, didn't keep in touch. During the pandemic, I believe it was the summer of 2020.
Yeah.
You came back in and you're like, I have an idea. What was the idea?
The idea was Groupshop, social commerce, helping brands turn customers into influencers, actually helping brands turn customers into partners.
Okay. So you pitched me this idea in the summer of 2020.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you have it built? And you're like, no. And I was like, if you go build it, I'll be your first customer. And
very field of dreams.
Very field of, if you build it,
they will come.
They will come. And at this point, I did not know your background. I didn't know if you had money. I didn't know what status you were, but like,
you know, I was a hustler.
I didn't know what you were capable of. And so
in a good way.
Yeah. And so I just said, go build it and then come back to me. If you build it, we'll give it a shot on some of our websites. Give us your background.
So I have a very interesting background. Grew up in LA, spent some time in the Inland Empire, bounced around. Always wanted to start a business. Went to community college, graduated.
Where'd you go to high school?
Went to high school, Roosevelt High School in Inland Empire, Eastville, California. And so went to community college, then transferred to Cal Poly, dropped out before I even started because I was like, I'm going to school to become a business major. And why go to get in depth when I could actually just go out there and do it?
Yeah.
And I also had a great job at the time. I was a technician at AT&T. Did that. So for a couple of years, left out, started my first business, kind of like an Airbnb for event rental spaces.
Okay.
Terrible idea. Failed. Crashed. 401k gone.
Yeah. And how old were you then?
I was 24.
Okay.
And
25.
can you walk me through your childhood upbringing? Did you live a middle class life, upper middle class?
Well, I would say a middle class life. Single mom. I'm a first generation American. My mom is I'm from Cameroon, and my mom was an immigrant. She came here with nothing. She came here as a lawyer, but had to become a nurse. And if you know any type of immigrant or African immigrant, it's very similar story. She kind of
they figured it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for those that are listening to the podcast, Matty looks like Meek Mill.
Good
let the jokes begin.
Good comp.
No, Meek Mill looks like Matty.
Every time I look at Matty,
Fat
I'm like,
Meek or skinny Meek?
Hey, which one's a fat camera? Which one's a fat camera?
Remember when Meek was fat? There was a period where he
you're
was
Fat Meek Mill.
Hey, listen, Fat Meek Mill is getting to the bag, so I'm just trying to follow the
sorry
same
for
path.
the distraction. Go ahead, continue on it.
Yeah. So, how'd you get this business mindset out of community college? What inspired you? Where you were like,
Did you read something? Did you watch something?
Yeah.
No, I've always been a builder at heart, right? I've always been a creative thinker, right? I always wanted to mold the world towards the version of the world that I wanted to be, and so.
But how do you get that single mom immigrant? That's not normal.
It's in our DNA. Coming from where. I've lived in Africa. I spent a good part of my childhood in Africa, and the only way out is you have to go out there and make something. There are no jobs. There are no opportunities, right? You create your own. And so that's been instilled in me, I think, from way back.
So you saw that in childhood, basically if I want to better my life, I have to hustle.
You have to hustle.
And so you then leave my office because I say, go build it. I don't know if you got money. I don't know if you're an engineer. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, you did.
So what the hell did you do between that and the 6 months after when you actually showed up back at my office?
I built it.
How much money did you have?
So I sold a drop shipping business prior to that. And so I used the funds from there and some of my personal funds, and I hired a team and we just built it.
And where'd you hire the team?
I hired a team. I sourced the majority of the team in India.
And so how did you even find that team?
I did my Googles.
Okay.
Google's your friend.
And so you found, and you don't have any formal engineering background, computer science, nothing.
Nah.
Okay, so there's this notion that when you're building a tech company that you have to be from engineering, computer science, software, and you were able to build a product in India with limited resources.
Yeah. Steve Jobs was not a developer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's built probably the greatest tech company known to man.
And so you use this Indian company, probably cousins of mine, and
reverse discrimination, taking advantage of people.
Listen.
And so you end up coming back to my office, I think in December or January.
Yeah.
Of December 2020, right?
Yeah, no, it was January 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you showed me a demo.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker built it.
Yeah.
And so, and this is where I got very excited because a lot of people walk into my office, a lot of people DM me, and a lot of people talk big.
Yeah.
Everyone talks big.
We're in LA.
Yeah, right? And so you go out, you walk out of your office, everyone talks big about their future, what they're going to do, what they're going to build.
Everybody's somebody.
And very rarely do people actually follow through and come back. And so when you came back and you're like, it's built, I was like, wow, I was impressed that it even got to this point. And you had applied through the Shopify App Store to get it approved.
Yeah.
And so I could launch this right away. So I called one of our e-com people on our team. I said, can we test Groupshop on one of the sites? They said, sure. And I'm sure, one of the site that we put it on, I'm not going to say what site it is, but like it does a lot of business.
It does. I was surprised you actually let me do that.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And so, because, you could have crashed the site.
Yeah, you just let random Matty walk through the door and put it on a multi-million-dollar brand.
Yeah.
But I'm forever grateful that you did that.
So we did it. We tried it and it worked. And walk us through exactly the digital product.
So Groupshop is a social commerce application for the Shopify ecosystem. And what we do essentially is post-purchase, we help your customers really share your brands with their friends and their family. So we allow them to create a version of your brand store that they take ownership of, and they're able to then go out there and promote your products and actually give their friends discounts for shopping your products and your brand.
So I'll make it even simpler. It's basically a way to incentivize your customer post-purchase with cash back.
Cash back, that's very important.
If they share the link of that website and their Groupshop page.
Yeah.
So if your friend, so it'll say you can get up to 90% cash back on your Groupshop. And I remember when we first tested it.
D, quick question.
Yeah.
Do you want to work for Groupshop? That was a great explanation of what I do. Even better than I do.
That's why.
Seasoned CEO.
That's why you came to me, bro. and so what I enjoyed about the experience is, as a obviously we have a bunch of different e-commerce sites. There's so much headwinds in customer acquisition cost, and everyone talks about loyalty. So we've been trying to navigate how do we grow our businesses without increasing our spend on Facebook, which is inefficient. And all the other platforms, unfortunately, aren't there yet. So Snapchat, you can only spend so much. TikTok, you can only spend so much. Google, questionable on how effective it is if someone already has intent to search your brand. So I was like, okay. And on the loyalty side, I've tried all the referral stuff. And the problem is like, earning points or a referral program where maybe you get more discounts. It doesn't work. It used to work. And I think when you said cash back, I was like, well, that's different. Yeah. Everyone wants cash back.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, you don't pay Google or Facebook in free merch, right? Or in points or in a like. You pay them in cash, right? If your customer goes out there and does the same level of work as Google or Facebook, and you could attribute a sale to your customer, then why are you not paying your customer with the same denomination that you're paying Google or Facebook or any other large platform?
And that was my biggest thing where we were on this same page was like, I'm a believer. I'd rather always pay the customer than the platform.
Yeah, because the truth is your customer wants to be your partner.
Yeah.
Like if I wear Nike and I am a big fan of Nike, I want to feel ownership towards the brand Nike.
Yeah.
I deserve to. That's part of the zeitgeist now. With Web3, a lot of the DAOs and things like that is shared ownership. Like the past of where you're a brand and then you're just able to get customers and then just get more customers and you don't really care about them and the goal is just to grow enterprise values over. Your customers want to participate in that.
Yeah, it's basically the new model is if you're a consumer facing brand and you don't build community, you're pretty much DOA.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be the commoditized brand that can just run some Instagram ads, that can just get to 0 to 5 million in revenue, but then really can't grow because there's no community. And the only way, in my opinion, I'm curious what you guys think, is that if you're a D2C brand and you don't have that community component, I don't think it's possible to grow efficiently and profitably.
I'll even put it simpler to you. I don't think it's possible for anyone to do what I did and be in a position I did now. Because if you imagine what I did was I took a drop shipping business and we weren't building a brand, we were selling products online, and that's just pure marketing. And we were able to do the Facebook, arbitrage and just scale our business up. Now, if you're trying to start an e-com brand, if you're not an influencer, it's not going to work. If you don't have an audience, it's not going to work. If you don't have a community, it's over for you.
Yeah.
You have to go and get venture dollars. And venture dollars are not flowing into D2C as they were 5 years ago.
It's over.
And so you build
That's
this.
a grim way of putting it.
And I think the interesting part was you built it, we tested it, and I saw that it was working.
Yes.
I saw that people were obviously excited about it because they were sharing the site. We saw transactions come through, and I was like, wow, this is really working. This is amazing. And the good thing about you is you're aggressive. And you just started showing up in my office every single day.
I got some free office space.
Yeah, and basically nobody was coming to the office then, right? Yeah. For those that period of time, because we had gotten that COVID surge in January, so it was like ghost town in the office. So we thought by then people would be coming back, but they weren't.
Yeah, I'll say this: it's two things, right? One is actionable words, and the second part is the importance of showing up.
Yeah.
Just having people see your face. Because we live in a time where everything's digital, right? You think you send a DM. A DM is not the same as showing up.
No, it never is.
It never is.
And so you start showing up every single day. And you made yourself at home. I see you having the snacks in the office. You know, you really you made yourself at home.
I mean, if I'm going to show up, I want to be comfortable when I show up.
And to be like fully clear, and I was probably the only person who never stopped showing up because I just needed a place to go.
Yeah.
And in January, February, I think it was just like me, you, and D for a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of free advice from Anand. I'm telling you this. And that's the reason I showed up, because I'm able to walk directly into Anand's office, interrupt his important calls when he's talking big money, and just ask him a random question.
Yeah.
No, but it was pretty awesome and fun to see your journey from, when did I meet you? Like properly meet?
January, probably.
I want to say top of the year.
January, February, and we're talking through your business, and you're building a software business that's technology. So, instantly my brain goes, okay, how does Silicon Valley view these things? And Maddy was telling me, I need X amount of money. And I said, okay, just to be honest with you, the venture funds that you want to be part of this business, if you walk in saying you want that amount of money, you need to times it by 7.
Yeah.
For anyone to take you seriously.
My mind almost exploded.
Yeah. And Maddy's like, what do you mean? I don't need that much money. I was like, well, then you're not a technology company.
Well, because here's the thing.
Let's clear it up right now. I need that much money. I need more.
Now
more money.
Need way more.
More money.
Yes. And I think
yesterday's price is
not today's price.
And I think the interesting thing is that was also just being naive and not having the network and not knowing the right people to have the right conversations with. Yeah. So Maddy went from a network and technology of probably zero donut to knowing us who are in those conversations daily and learning how to navigate it. And I think those conversations he had with you, if you're a founder and you don't have someone to talk to, it's fucking impossible to know how to position your brand.
And for the longest part, nothing got signed, no deals got made unless I ran it by D or Anand.
Yeah.
And that's very, very critical to my success.
And I think since you don't come from Silicon Valley, you don't come from the technology world, sure, you're very talented in technology, but that's not your background. It's intimidating, right?
It's very.
When I started telling you the numbers, you were just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Because what I learned is that oftentimes is you don't get screwed on the numbers, you get screwed on the terms behind those numbers. Mm-hmm. And so those are the insights I were able to gather from D and Anand, because you guys have seen so many of these deals. You've seen so many.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's about getting screwed or anything like that. I think it's just understanding how to navigate the landscape, because when you're a founder and if you don't come from this world or you're not surrounded by it, you don't even know how much money things cost. You don't understand how hard it is to build something. You don't understand that you're probably going to have to raise money again and again and again to even get the outcome that you want to get. And so if you don't know the game, how are you going to get in and play it? And part of my personal passion is helping people so that they get in a position where you didn't have to go to. I know I joke about Harvard and Stanford all the time, and that's because this is me on my Kanye shit. How he wants
talk
to
that shit, D.
I'm basically trying to create my own Harvard, and I'm going to create my own community, because that flag that I put up here is just a reminder of what we're actually building, which is we're building the next generation of Harvard. And that doesn't mean you have to come from a rich private school. That doesn't mean you need to come from a privileged background. It means that you get access to things that someone that went to Harvard got. And what happened? You came to me and said, I need money. And I was like, all right, what kind of what do you want? And he's like, I want to go raise venture money. I want to go.
DMs are going to go crazy after this.
D Murphy.
Across all platforms.
and so, you know, and I know how venture is. Venture's not, you know, they're not welcoming to outsiders. It's an inside baseball game.
Yeah,
we all know the stats.
Yeah, it's inside baseball. So, you know, we're sitting here strategizing. You know, I'm helping him out wherever I can, and start talking about who would be good. And he had told me he had DM'd, messaged, emailed hundreds of investors already.
Listen,
without even telling me, he had already done that.
I'm that guy.
He's that guy. He does it. Crickets.
That's
life. Everyone who says what they say, but then when it comes to reality, that's not how the doors are open.
It's not.
So I start thinking to myself, I'm like, who are kind of progressive, awesome investors that I know? I hit up 3 people. I hit up Brandon Bryant from Harlem Capital.
My guy.
AJ Rilan from Slauson & Co. AJ
My
in
other
Austin.
guy.
And I hit up Anthony Saleh from Wonder Co.
One of the realest.
And so you go have a conversation with Brandon and Harlem.
Yes, right away.
And first of all, credit to them. I've never seen diligence like this.
Yo.
These guys work.
Yo, listen, they do the work. I would say that. Like, they're very, very diligent.
And you then met with AJ in Austin, who are awesome. They're Los Angeles based. Brandon's Cleveland, New York based.
Yeah.
His firm's out in New York. And these guys are friends of mine. And, you know, I was telling them, I'm like, this is something I really believe in. I am 5 feet from Matty every single day. And I'm invested in his success. Like, it has to happen. And so they were kind enough to spend the time with you. And really, like, they did the homework, right? Like,
no. It wasn't off. I mean, of course, like, you know, what you had to say was very important. Like, you know, that cosign was very important, but they did the work.
Yeah, and they believed in your business.
Yeah.
They didn't give you the money because of me. They gave you the money because they believe in your business.
It was quite a bit of money too. So
yeah. And so you then and then Wonder Co. Kind of rounded out your cap table. And you know, we think about your journey as an entrepreneur, and you are now a venture-backed tech entrepreneur.
And that happened all within like 3 weeks. Like, you know, like,
don't be promising other people that.
I mean, listen, I'm just the facts are the facts.
Look, I think, you know, I like to bust Matty's balls every day. Like, I don't like to.
Well, we're just trying to keep him humble.
Yeah, this guy's ego's out of control.
All right.
No,
I'm that guy, huh?
I try to bust his balls every single day when we're talking. But like, to be pretty candid, I think the reason why you're able to get that done is you're arguably one of the most resourceful founders I've ever seen. And, you know, I introduced you to some of my friends and they were blown away that you were able to build what you built, given that how'd you find engineers in Bangalore? Like, how'd you even do that? And you do that without any help. Yeah. And I think that is the critical piece that if you're starting a business, like the work Matty put before anyone gave him a favor was insane. And he came up with a product. And I think that's why everyone was bought in, including myself, because you put in the work yourself. It wasn't like, hey, how do I do this? You're like, no, I already fucking did it.
Yeah, and I think that's so much of, you know, we want to help people. We genuinely want to help people and we want to do, but like, we can't take you to the water and then fucking stick your hand down the well and grab it for you also. It's like, you said you had an idea. I said it's a fucking great idea. And I said, if you build it, we'll test it. You built it. You didn't make me try to figure out how to fucking build it. Yeah. Right? Like, you actually went and built it. And then it became easier for me to help you.
And that's one thing I realized. Like, I believe that I'm optimist, right? So I believe that people want to see you do good in majority of the time. And I believe that people want to get behind movements,
Yeah.
We all want to follow things. We all want to be a part of other people's success. We all want to say, hey, I remember when he was there. Now he's here. I've seen him, rise up and climb that ladder. And I could say, you, especially D, like that's something I could say I've seen it over and over again. Like, I've seen people, I've been in this office. I've seen multiple come in, multiple leave. I've always seen that you've never closed the door.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of people oftentimes are like, hey, what do I do? No one wants to help me, but no one wants to help you because they don't see you helping yourself.
Yeah.
You're not working towards the thing you say you're actually actively doing or pursuing.
Yeah. And I think that's all very true. And I think at the end of the day, you got to be a doer. You got to get shit done and you got to show people that you're willing to do it. I think too many people are in this theoretical land of like, oh, I have this great idea. And they're just like, oh, I don't have the resources. I don't have the money.
Everyone has ideas.
And by the way, if you want to be candid, like you told me you were fucking broke.
I was dead ass. I put all my money into like building the first version of my product.
Yeah.
That was it. Like, aim for the moon.
Yeah. And I think that is when you talk about like,
and if you think about it, you put your entire life savings on the line before you knew anyone was going to help you get to the next step. Right?
That I wouldn't advise that, but being candid, I wouldn't I'll definitely advise against that. But yeah, no, I mean, it worked out for me. But yeah, like I don't think I would be. It's a certain DNA that I guess I have a higher risk threshold than other people, but
yeah, and I think just being like being a part of the journey and watching all of this unfold. I mean, you haven't announced the fundraise yet. And the amount of tier 1 VCs that are having conversations with you every single day already is insane to me. So it just tells you you're onto something really, really big.
Yeah.
And you're going to have that success that you want. And it's like, look, and that's the thing. You built something, it's live. So now people can invest in it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't live, no one would fucking give you $1.
And here's the thing, like, I'm on a mission, like, for real. Like, with Groupshop, it's not even about, whether the tier 1 VCs are talking to me or not. Like, this is something I have to see through.
Yeah.
We have to make e-commerce for everyone. We have to make it equitable.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that customers are partners, that they're not just consumers. And in order for us to do that, like, it's going to require those tier 1 VCs. And I think that's where the world is moving forward, we're moving towards. And I think, everyone sees it and they're trying to get on board.
Yeah. And so basically my brands are in the alpha. So we got to experience it first.
You got the first-hand experience of it, rough and everything. And I really appreciate you for allowing me to do that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And then you're now going to open it up to more folks in January.
Yes, we currently have a wait list live at groupshop.co. You can find us on socials. I know we usually do this at the end, but I jumped the gun. You hit us up on socials, Groupshop it. And we'll be able to get you on that wait list. But January, we're going to be doing a beta, onboarding a few more brands, and then doing a wider launch in a Q1.
And I'll tell you, as a brand owner, if you look at, so they've coined a phrase. So in advertising, it's called return on ad spend. You call it?
Return on group spend.
Group spend. And the idea is social commerce is coming to America. We're seeing inklings of it all over. And I believe what Matty is building will change the way you think about marketing, because would you rather reward Facebook for a customer, or would you rather reward your customer? Because if your customer thinks they can make money promoting your brand, they will fucking do it.
I mean, look what people are doing when they think they can make, run up a couple X's on crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's real. Like, I think, this is the future. If last decade was a decade of brands growing on the back of Facebook, the next decade, which is the 2020s, would be brands growing on the back of community.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that impressed me when I first met you was when you showed up and you started talking about this idea of group commerce, social commerce. And in China, we obviously know that social commerce has revolutionized the way people purchase things. And he came into my office, started talking about Pinduoduo, and I was like, how the fuck? Okay. I was like, all right, this guy actually has put the work in.
I did the research.
I was like, yeah. But I'm giving you a compliment. I was just like, this isn't someone just showing up for a handout.
Yeah.
He literally was like, I've done all the fucking work.
Yeah.
Help me get to the next step.
Yeah, I mean, he got inbound interest from a firm that focuses on Chinese investments that I just so happen to know, and they were excited about it, and they're in the best Chinese companies of all time, and so I just think what you're building is very special. I think the story is even more special because it's going to prove that you don't have to go to Harvard.
Go ahead.
But you got to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, you got to listen to this podcast.
No,
it ain't happening. Joe Rogan ain't doing this shit.
Listen, Group Chat University, I'm like the valedictorian.
Joe Rogan gets you suspended for a week in the NFL.
Listen, I can say this. I can say I'm possibly going to be a multi-millionaire from listening to this pod. And, knock on wood, hopefully we get there, That's the goal.
Yeah, but the work's starting now, right?
Yeah.
So, you've raised capital, you have amazing firms backing you.
Yeah.
But you got to grind. This is just the beginning.
No,
and we talk about this all the time is you also, it's now about paying it forward too.
Yeah.
So as you have levels of success in your business, you got to keep your doors open.
Matty's slick. Let me tell you, this guy's one of the slickest guys. When I was moving into my new spot, he heard me on the phone with Time Warner and this and that. He goes, I'll handle all that for you.
Yeah.
And then
I paid it forward.
There's a 4-hour window that you have to sit and wait for Time Warner to show up. So Matty comes with me and literally asked me 1,000 questions for 4 hours.
Listen,
he should have just said, I'll wait here. You go do your thing.
I got some free FaceTime.
Yeah.
I learned the ins and outs of investing. I got a PhD in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Ever since then, Anna will not let me come by his house. I can't even drive by there.
But that's because you put the effort in, right? The thing is that people genuinely want to help people. I think people always feel like, oh, no one wants to help people. No, they want to help people. They just don't want to fucking do everything for you. Like, they're happy to give you your time, happy to give introductions, but like, you got to show that you want it.
Take the initiative.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any parting words of wisdom for people?
I'll say this. Whatever you want to do in life, you can accomplish it. I mean, I say that to say this. Like, I never thought, like, I always saw myself in this position. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to grow a business. I always wanted to own a business at the highest levels. I never thought it would happen this soon. I never thought it would happen this way. But, my story is a guiding light to anyone, no matter where you are. You just have to take the first step forward. Action is the only way towards progress.
Wow, I like that. Did you rehearse that?
Nah, off the top of the dome.
He's like Meek Mill, just freestyling.
Hey, you really
dreams and nightmares over here.
You're gonna have the people really thinking I look like Meek Mill. That's crazy.
My last compliment to Matty before I shit on him as soon as this pod's over.
I need more. Yeah, I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna turn this into an NFT just for myself because Anna never compliments me.
No, so I introduced him to one of my best friends, Vivek Patel. He was
shout out to Vivek.
COO of Postmates, $4.5 billion acquisition to Uber. And
one of the coolest people I know. I'll also add that on there.
And I introduced him to him because Vivek understands tech much more than I do. And I was like, what do you think? And he was just like, this dude's an incredible product person. Like, his ability to like understand tech product is like, he's like, I have no idea how he's figured this out, given that he didn't come from Google, Facebook, Shopify, any of these. So, when I heard that endorsement from Vivek, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This guy's real.
I appreciate it, guys. Like, I appreciate both of you. Like, y'all are real people. Like, we're in LA. There's a lot of, things going on.
Phony baloney.
Everyone has a Lamborghini, but everyone also is in a 1-bedroom apartment, type of situation. But no, I appreciate it. Like, it's everyone you've introduced me to, you've always put me in positions to be successful.
Yeah.
Like, you've never ever been. I've never come to either of you and like, had a question, and if you didn't have the answers, you pointed me in the right direction of who can help me answer those questions.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate it.
Awesome, man. We're proud of you. You're supposed to bring champagne. You fucked that up.
Yeah, where's the champagne?
Yeah.
The champagne is coming. It's coming.
Well, guess what? Drink some Lo Siento.
No.
I have to provide the alcohol too.
Listen, if I came today, I only
buy
have.
our tequila.
If I came today, it'll only be one bottle. If I come in a year from now, it might be a case. Delayed gratification.
Oh my God. Okay, where are you on social media? People want to reach out to you.
You can find me Maddy Sukoru across all socials. I think my Instagram might be different. I gotta change that up.
Yeah.
But Maddy, I'll probably pop up. Or if you go on D's Instagram and search Maddy Maddy, I'll pop up. So hit me up. We're hiring. We're giving money away. So the new thing is giving money away, right? That's the whole Web3 thing.
My wallet's open.
Are we giving out Ethereum? If you can make the Groupshop go viral, you send us brands. If you're an e-com marketer, digital marketer, you're trying to break into tech, whatever, we're hiring, hit me up. We're giving away money, all of that.
Yeah, I think the thing that we're all learning is that it's about incentivizing everyone involved in your community to help your business.
Exactly.
It's not so we talked about this right before the podcast about like building out a referral and affiliate program for fuck it. If you're a listener and your friend has a $10 million e-commerce business, introduce him to Matty. He'll kick you back referral.
Listen,
everybody eats.
Everyone eats. Everyone is a salesperson. And a lot of people say,
we don't have the fattest podcast in the world.
The number one fattest podcast
in the world. Listen,
everyone eats.
Listen, we need to put a scale over here. Before you come in here, you gotta weigh yourself. That's how we gotta do it. But no, like for real. Like I was talking to D about this, and it was like, about referrals, and I was trying to be stingy. I was like, oh man, that might be a little. D was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like if you find someone that's able to provide you value, then you're never gonna underpay for value that someone provides you.
Yeah, of course.
And so like if we're looking for great e-commerce brands that want to move forward with us and really change the status quo, because listen, these platforms are your friend. Google's an amazing platform, amazing product. Facebook, amazing product, right? However, they're not your friends. Zuck is not
a
gonna.
lot of happy hours courtesy of Facebook.
There's a reason why they're trying to make you think they're your friend.
There's a reason why Zuck is not gonna sit back and turn on the cost of ads, right? Zuck is not gonna be like, oh, Christmas is coming up,
Everybody gotta eat.
Everyone gotta eat. Let's make sure. Let's sell these goods. Nah, the market cap has to keep going up. Costs have to keep going up. So either you come, and I don't know exactly if our solution is the de facto one, but we're working towards it and we're gonna get there. So if you want to get behind what we're trying to build, we're welcoming you with open hands.
Yeah, come on, show it.
You tired of Zuck? You tired of Zuck taking all your money? Come over to Groupshop. You tired of not being able to sell nothing? Come over to Groupshop. For real.
There we have it.
There we have it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Good luck on the journey.
It's ongoing, but you guys will be there every step of the way. All right. Cool.
All right, great interview, Matty. We're going to get into some news. So if you're interested, head over to groupshop.co or hit up Matty on social media, LinkedIn, and find out more.
Bombard his DMs. Ask him for advice.
Yeah, seriously. Give me a break. So we're going to get into some news. I can't get away from it. It's Peloton. Peloton is... I'll back it up. Peloton CFO said last week, 2 weeks ago, when their stock stumbled, said, we don't have any need for cash right now. We don't need to raise any money. So everyone took that as like, hey, these guys are fine. They don't need any cash. They announced a secondary offering and they raised $1 billion and the stock went up. Normally in a secondary offering,
15%.
So the secondary offering, first of all, this is not a good sign because all of a sudden they went from we don't need cash to 2 weeks ago to we need cash. The stock had, I think, went down to like $46, $47. And they did the deal, the secondary offering at a discounted price at $46. And it got a pop. So this leads me to believe some good old collusion has happened because secondary offerings do not make the stock fucking pop. It's not normal.
Yeah, typically when you say you don't need cash the week before and then you go raise $1 billion, that means you need the cash.
Yeah, it should go down.
Yeah. And
Did whoever did the secondary tell all their homies, buy a Peloton so we can get this pop? And all these people got a huge fucking return in one day.
yeah, I think it's very suspicious that a stock goes up 15% when the executives of the firm lied a week before. But this is where we're at in 2021.
It doesn't matter. I mean, Rivian is worth more than all cars ever made combined, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't. It's impossible to figure out the public markets, and
This makes no sense to me that this stock went up.
yeah, especially $1 billion. It's a meaningful amount. It's not like it was a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
I saw they have some new. They have some new chicanery products that they're launching.
Yeah, like a
At-home workout.
yeah,
that's
like I think a weightlifting
Yeah.
thing.
So
Chicanery. Does that mean chicanery mean joke?
Yeah, it's just like foolish.
Foolish. Okay. Because they're definitely foolish. None of that shit is working. None of that shit's getting.
I don't
by
know
me.
one person who rides a Peloton anymore.
I mean, yeah, didn't really know anyone before.
Besides drama.
And he rode it 3 times.
Yeah, he rode it 3
But they were
times.
3 good rides.
They were $1,000 a ride. That's what he paid for those. You know what he could have done with $1,000?
Could have.
Speaking of another stock that popped, this was kind of not surprising. Casper, which had hit an all-time low of $150 million market cap, maybe even lower. Stock was trading at $3.18. Yesterday, gets a offer from a private equity firm, Durational Capital Management, nearly a 95% premium to buy the entire company and take it private.
Yeah, so this must be a private equity firm that thinks they can just cut all the costs. This seems like an Honest Co. kind of acquisition, what L. Catterton did.
Yeah.
So what happened with Honest Co. is Honest Company, Jessica Alba's brand, raised a bunch of venture funding, probably over $1 billion, something crazy, right?
Yeah.
Built out a tech stack, built out all this stuff, hired hundreds of engineers, and then L. Catterton looked at the business and was basically like, this is a CPG company. This isn't a tech company. They fired all the engineers. They corrected the cost to what appropriate, just a brand that sells to Target and some e-commerce.
Yeah.
And I don't know where else they sell. I'm sure they sell to a lot of places. But they made the business real.
Yeah.
And they figured out like Honest Co. as a brand matters. You can do a lot of revenue. And if you don't structure it like a tech company, you can actually be profitable.
Yeah.
And my assumption is Casper is probably similar. It's a brand that a lot of people know. Mattresses are high margin products.
Yeah.
If you cut engineering, you cut the tech stack,
And lower
operate it-
marketing. Yeah.
lower marketing spend, operate it like a CPG brand, it makes sense. And I'm assuming this private equity firm did that math, and this is why they bought it. This is like the
Private equity loved mattress businesses.
They always have.
made money.
yeah, they always have, and that's the flaw in D2C, which is why like Maddy might be able to be the hero of the day.
Yeah.
You can't operate like a tech company when you have just normal consumer margins. The reason why tech companies that we talk about are valued so highly, the long-lasting ones, is they're 80-90% margins.
Yeah.
Like Google, Facebook,
Yeah.
Snowflake, all these 80-90% margins with like,
Unlimited scale.
yes, unlimited scale, zero marginal cost to get the new customer.
Yeah.
Or to add services to these products, everything. And D2C is just not that.
No. And it doesn't mean that they're bad businesses.
No.
They just shouldn't be valued like the way
They
they've been
shouldn't be
valued.
valued like a software business.
No. And I think that's where things got out of hand. Look, I think that has obviously corrected itself.
Sure.
And there are unfortunately great businesses being punished for it because of some of this chicanery
Yep.
that happened in the market. And now I actually think this is the beginning of a lot of these we're going to see. Because I think there's a lot of kind of undervalued properties that have gone public, specifically in the CPG space, that could be ripe for some sort of disruption in terms of acquisition from a private equity company. I mean, we talked about Oatly. Oatly was like I forgot what it was a few weeks ago, how valuable of a company. Oatly was something like, I think, $15 billion company a month ago. It's now a $6 billion company.
Mm-hmm.
And if Oatly goes down to a $1 billion company, that's a ripe for private equity to buy it. By the way, Peloton, if Peloton gets cut in half, it's going to get bought. Because at that point, it's a pretty decent brand that someone might, Maddy was saying Nike should buy Peloton if it gets cut in half. And I was like, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Now it's worth getting into wearables and some sort of at-home product if it's cheap enough. And I think these companies they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars building a brand. So now some other company could get the benefit of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because think about, I think Casper raised $350 million.
Yeah.
What do you think? They probably spent 60, 70 million on marketing? 100 million?
300?
Oh, yeah, sure. With the revenue. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They probably spent all of it.
And everyone knows what Casper is.
Yeah.
They bought literally every subway billboard in New York City.
Yeah.
Biggest city in the country.
Yeah.
So the brand
resonates.
So basically you're saying that the new model is go get venture-backed, use all the venture-backed money, create a brand.
Go public.
Investors get some money out. Then Crater.
Yeah.
And then a PE shop comes and figures out how to run the business.
And by the way, here's the thing. I know everyone's like shitting on Casper. Everyone made money on the way.
Everyone made money on the way.
Everyone. Investors made money. The only person that...
Retail.
Who
Retail
bought
holders
the IPO.
who bought the IPO got screwed.
Yeah. So, it's not a bad model.
Yeah. I mean, Retail Joe, poor guy. Where's he been? Is he in crypto?
I was all in on the Casper IPO.
I feel like Retail Joe dabbled in Doge and Shibu. He might have been okay.
Retail Joe's doing fine.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, it's interesting to see how it plays out. I think there's going to be a lot more because even though the stock market is at record highs, there's a lot of branded companies, like name brand companies, that are 52-week lows. A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
That is incredible opportunity for private equity.
Yep.
All right, moving on. So the big news that just came out, Substack, which is a platform for journalists to connect directly to readers and charge a subscription, now has 1 million paid subscriptions. That's insane.
Yeah. So
are you a Substack guy?
Yeah, the Substacks I weirdly subscribe to are free. So I'm not part of the 1 million. I haven't forked
Do they
over.
have a paid option?
Yeah, those writers?
Yeah.
No.
You can't like get a premium content if
No,
you pay $5.
No, I think the only newsletter, actually no, I pay for two. I pay for The Information and I pay for Ben Thompson. And Ben Thompson's not on Substack. He
He's on
gave
his
like
own.
his whole like spiel why he's not on Substack. I think he's like, I don't need to give a percentage away because he already has his built-in audience.
Yeah. I don't understand why. I guess it's just easy to use. That's why you would do Substack.
If you're the reader or the writer.
The writer.
The writer basically can make way more money on their own terms.
No. I get it. But why even use a Substack? Is it they're like the Shopify of
Yeah,
newsletters?
exactly.
They
You
make
just
it easy.
write it, right? You don't have to worry about the tech part of it or anything.
Yeah.
And then if you have the audience on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever, you can just put your link up and people can subscribe.
So Substack takes 10%, which isn't bad considering.
Yeah, so it basically gave all the initial Substack kind of surge was, in my opinion, during COVID and during cancel culture, where a lot of these writers from the New York Times
They got fired.
got into heat. Like, I think Bari Weiss is a big one.
Yeah.
Like, we're writing op-eds that people in the like kind of woke culture didn't like and try to get them canceled. They moved over to Substack and they've been super successful. I think Glenn Greenwald's now on Substack. But yeah, if you have the audience, why would you go work for the New York Times? Why do you need the platform?
Yeah.
If you've already built the hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers, because, I mean, it makes more sense for the writer. And then if if you're the fan of the writer, you're gonna go subscribe.
Yeah, and I think even Substack is playing it the right way. They're giving advances to big writers. Some writers have received over $400,000 to start their own newsletter.
So the New York Times has 8 million subscribers.
Wow.
And this is 1 million.
That's insane.
That's pretty crazy because it happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Let me check the New York Times market cap because they're publicly traded.
It's definitely a B.
Oh, yeah. New York Times is a $8 billion company.
Wow. So Substack could easily have 10 million subscribers over.
So Substack should be 200 billion.
Yeah, at least. That's how we like to multiply it. All right, let's move on. YouTube is jumping all in on live shopping.
This is a playbook from China, right?
This is a Chinese playbook. This is what everyone has been talking about for 5 years in America. Live shopping. And I know there's Pop Shop Live that's becoming a popular platform. Instagram is encouraging people to do live streams and shopping. YouTube now, starting on November 15th, which was yesterday, will allow viewers to shop new products, unlock limited time offers, and engage with creators and other viewers via Q&A and polls. So they're not allowing, this is like a test. It's not for all creators, but I believe this is a huge opportunity for new creators. They're going to eventually roll it out to everybody. But like, if you're a new creator and you create a shopping channel, I think you can jump the line on YouTube and become extremely relevant really quickly. You just have to be like, this is one of those things you got to post fucking live streaming videos every single day for like 6 months. One of your videos will hit, you'll sell out some product on some site and you're off to the races. But I think this is a huge opportunity. And we know, like, if YouTube sees you hustling, they're going to help you.
I was thinking about this. Like, what if someone just took a page out of, like, in Congress where you could filibuster and you just like talk for days to try to not get a vote in?
Mm-hmm.
What if someone live streamed for like 4 straight days and didn't go to sleep? Wouldn't go viral.
Yeah, I would.
It would 100% go viral, right? Everyone's gonna be like, day 3, this person's still not sleeping.
They're just taking Adderall and cocaine and they're just like going all in.
Some content creators going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and that's why I actually think this is going to create the next generation of like YouTube stars will be through live shopping. I just don't, and I don't think it's going to be who we think. I think it's going to be all new people.
Is it possible? Like, how hard is it today to be a new YouTube star?
Impossible.
Right?
Impossible.
You have to have an audience somewhere else and bring it onto YouTube?
Yeah, or you just got to grind it out on videos like forever.
So TikTok's still the only platform where you can go viral without being on a Netflix show? Or
I spoke to a young guy that was a digital marketer and his clients were asking him to help him with TikTok. And so he started posting just to understand it. And then he decided to post twice a day for 60 days. And he does like kind of slapstick comedy stuff. Got 5 million followers.
Jeez.
5 million.
So now he's getting brand deals and...
Yeah, he makes a living off of it now.
Yeah.
And so I think TikTok still is that only place where you can...
That's the specialty of TikTok. That's the secret sauce.
That's the charm.
Yeah. If they ever remove that, I feel like the platform...
Yeah. You got to give... That hope you give every creator that you could go viral is so invaluable from a platform standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like, that's why I think the YouTube live shopping thing could be that for them, is because sure, there are tons of new people posting on YouTube every single day, but no, they're not getting any fucking views. They're just posting.
Sure.
I don't know. It's interesting. But so they're launching it really obviously in anticipation of Black Friday next week. So, I mean, I'm curious to see. Amazon has their own live on their platform on Amazon, a live shopping thing. And you know, obviously these guys are saying, YouTube is saying that it's been successful with the people they've been testing it with. So we'll see. I'm curious to see how it actually plays out, but I'm excited to.
I hope they let new creators win. It's they're incentivized to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, TikTok has the playbook.
I think if you can out of your head here's the thing that I think about platforms. As soon as you get big on any platform, you should post less. So you should only incentivize new people.
Right.
You shouldn't reward the
Because
old.
the big stars are so curated now and what
Yeah.
they post. They can't have a dud.
No.
Once you're a star, you can't have a dud.
Even on YouTube, like I was looking at like Jake Paul. The guy hasn't posted in like,
But he actually publicly said he's done with all of it.
yeah. So like I'm just saying then like, but for the next Jake Paul to happen, that person has to be rewarded for the content they create. So YouTube needs to figure out a way to just create and reward.
Yeah, that's the genius of the flywheel of TikTok.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. Last topic before we move on to a very special interview with Ian and Parker from Ledger. JuneShine just raised $24 million in their Series B for their hard kombucha business. So this is interesting. Seltzers was really the pandemic thing.
Yep.
That exploded. Clearly, the seltzer bubble has popped, with the exception of things like Happy Dad that have kind of found their kind of audience. Now there's this whole new wave of kind of better for you alcohol, and JuneShine's a local company. There's $24 million. So this is like not normal in alcohol, like to raise this kind of basically venture style money
Right.
to go build an alcohol company. They have a D2C business, but they're also in grocery stores and they're also in, all the traditional channels. What do you think about it?
I'm curious why there's so much enthusiasm considering how we saw the whipsaw of seltzer, right?
Yeah.
Seltzers exploded, then they crashed. Have you been to a Trader Joe's or a Ralph's recently?
No, I paid $10 and get my.
So if you go
delivered
to
from
either
Amazon.
one of those, a Ralph's, a Trader Joe's, any of these markets, it's exhausting when you see the brands. There's like 100 different brands of
For what?
hard
Seltzer.
kombucha,
Yeah.
seltzer, pomegranate seltzer, this. Like whatever happened to what's Portnoy's brand? That's gone.
High Noon?
Yeah, I don't even see that anymore.
I feel like it's a summer thing.
Yeah, but he doesn't even post about it.
He's sick of it. He doesn't want to drink it.
My point is, I mean, it's such a tough category.
I actually like JuneShine. It tastes good.
It's good, and you have the fake. It's good for your gut probiotics.
Yeah.
You're drinking alcohol. It's great for your gut.
Yeah. Then my gut must be unbelievable.
So I mean, you're making the bet that JuneShine is like
$1 billion company.
correct,
Yeah.
and it just seems risky given how fickle consumers are.
Yeah.
I don't know. The non-liquor branded business is like, it's so crowded.
Yeah. It actually seems less crowded when you go look at vodka. There's like only 6.
Yeah. Everyone has like a gimmick too.
Yeah.
One's kombucha, one's seltzer, one's vodka, one's,
Yeah.
You name it. And
I mean, and maybe there is this growing consumer that is looking for an alternative to hard liquor. And I think what the investors think is like, is beer going to get replaced? That has got to be the thought process.
I think if you were to go to Alabama,
Yeah.
like a tailgate, you think anyone has a fucking kombucha?
Yeah. They're drinking Bud Light.
Yes. Beer's not going anywhere.
No, it's going nowhere.
It's almost similar to like how you think about Uber Eats, right? You have all these like healthy creation and all these like business. 25% of their business is McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's what people want.
Yeah. So then, but the thesis then is they're stealing market share from something.
Maybe a wine drinker
Yeah.
instead of like a Sauvignon Blanc.
because I don't think a hard liquor drinker is
No,
stopping.
I don't think a Budweiser drinker it would be cut dead with a kombucha drink.
Yeah, they're just going to continue on. So I think
They may take their Budweiser and crush the can on the kombucha drink.
it may be the Chardonnay drinker.
But that's also what weed's going after.
Yeah.
These light,
But I
lighter
think
weed
it's like,
things.
gaming and streaming. The weed guy is smoking weed, drinking a hard kombucha, and then turn it up to tequila 3 hours later.
Yeah, but there's so many weed brands that are supposed to be like lighter highs that are supposed to replace the wine that you drink when
I
you
mean,
get
like
home.
I drink my high. That's like what it is for me. It's like a wine for me.
Mhm. It's just crowded. I think with weed getting more mainstream, like once you can,
So that hurts wine then.
I think it hurts this too.
Seltzers.
Yeah. Because I don't think the guy that's pouring a whiskey at 5 p.m. is ever a seltzer drinker.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to get drunk.
Yes. What do you think, Tim? You're a beer connoisseur.
Oh yeah, beer's going to just
I like
keep
beer.
growing.
I like beer.
Beer's here. Beer is huge on the East Coast. Beer's growing on the West Coast. It's
But
just
in terms of
Are
like
you drinking
this-
seltzers?
Seltzers.
never.
So you had a Halloween bash.
Yep.
Did you have anything non-beer or hard liquor?
And we have punch. Like we had like things we made, but not like
With like
we had a
clear.
bartender.
What's the really hard liquor that it,
Four Loko.
Everclear?
Everclear.
That's what people put in the punches in college.
Oh yeah. No, I use Everclear for something else. But yeah,
What's something else?
I use it for glug. Glug is I'm Swedish, so I use it for a Swedish drink called glug.
I thought it was to wash your floors.
So no one in your
to
crew
skin
is
the mules.
no one in your crew is like opting for the JuneShine.
I think probably the people who are drinking like cans of rosé. Those are the people moving over to kombucha. You know,
Yeah.
that's right.
Who's drinking canned rosé?
There's a huge market for that. And I think
Really?
those are the people. Yeah, it's like a younger demographic. It's like college and fresh out of college age. I think.
Yeah, makes
But
sense.
it's just like so fruity and easy to drink. And I think
Yeah, I guess when you're older and you're stressed out, you got to go straight to hard liquor. You can't be thinking about like, I just want to have a light buzz.
Right.
No, I need to be drunk.
Yeah. What's rosé gonna do for you?
Would I have to drink 6 bottles of rosé? All right, so we're going to get on with this interview with Ian and Parker from Ledger. It's a really interesting interview, especially the end, because Parker gives some great tips on if you want to get into crypto and NFT, where the hell you should be in 2 weeks. Because if you're not there, sounds like you're missing out. Let's get into it. All right, everyone, we have our very special guest back. You're still in Paris tonight, aren't you?
I'm
Ian?
in Paris. Yesterday I was in Milan, but today I'm in Paris.
That's the cool thing about Europe. It's just so much easier to just hop and jump everywhere.
It's amazing. You know, when I met my girlfriend, one of the first things she said to me, she said, you know, the great thing about Paris is it's really close to Italy.
So that's very true. Yeah. I mean, hopefully I'll be out there soon because I enjoy traveling to all those cities when they're so close by. So, you know, we wanted to talk to you today about a few things. One was we obviously are getting inundated with people asking how to use Ledger to the fullest, and then really understanding why Ledger is so important as we build our kind of crypto and NFT portfolios. And you were just sharing with me a crazy story about someone who lost somewhere between 300 and 500 ETH altogether. Mostly NFTs were taken and sold. And what the hell happened there?
Well, I looked into it. I mean, it looks like that one was a targeted hit. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not the like investigator that's done it. I just looked at the Twitter thread, so you can look at it yourself. The handle is flim.eth. It's at 0xflim. And it's, you know, we unfortunately at Ledger, we hear about all these kind of stories. We're kind of the lightning rod for these stories. And it's so sad when you hear about them. And, you know, this guy wasn't protecting with a hardware wallet. It sounds like somebody, if you read the thread, you'll see he said it looks like, you know, somebody put some malware on his computer, and then they managed to get control of his computer, and then they transferred his stuff out of his wallet. You know, and that's one of those things that just couldn't have happened with a hardware wallet, because, you know, the only way that a transaction can get approved on your hardware wallet is if you actually click approve on the wallet. So, you know, this is a sad one because I think it would have been prevented if he'd had a hardware wallet. I actually got a call today, and I won't say who it was, but it's a pro skateboarder who lost some money, not that much, but still enough money that, you know, he lost more money than I made a year in the year 2000, put it that way, you know, to put it into context. And, you know, and that's just normal. We just hear it every day at this point. So, it's it's not necessary. I mean, look, it's not that you can't get scammed if you have a hardware wallet, because, if you have a hardware wallet and you do something foolish, like share your seed phrase, or, you approve transactions that, that you shouldn't be approving, it's still possible. I don't want to tell people it's impossible, but you definitely you remove a whole bunch of the attack surfaces if you have a hardware wallet. And even in the case of some of these psychological scams, just having that I gotta go get my wallet, that's enough of a level. It's a moment, it's if you're playing, if you get stopped on the street and you think you're going to win, 3-card Monty, and one person just whispers in your ear, yo, dude, it's rigged. You're like, wait, what? You just need that moment to take a step back sometimes. This is why. I mean, I think unfortunately the reality is people are realizing, you can't protect Web3 value with, Web2 hardware. And that's just it. So if you've got more than $60 of value, you should have a $60 hardware wallet to back it up. And I know it sounds like a sales pitch, but there's a reason that I put my personal opportunity cost in with this company, because I think that's a fact.
And what are you hearing? Even I'll give you an example. The other day I sent some ETH to somebody, and to me, just even sending it, they sent me the wallet address. You just copy paste and you put it. But there's something about the user experience, and maybe you're seeing where the future is heading, and maybe it is these ENS domains, so it makes it easier to identify where you're sending it. I have this I always send a small amount to confirm that it's the right address and then send it. But that feels like a very archaic way of doing, business. But when you go to Venmo, when you go to Venmo, it's verified by their phone number, their profile pic shows up. And I just, for whatever reason, that's enough comfort for me to be all right, how much do I owe you? I'll just send it to you right away. But when I'm sending ETH through any wallet, I'm pretty fucking nervous.
Yeah, I think I do the same thing. Send a transaction ahead first, and then a small transaction, and then send a larger transaction through after. That's normal practice with any sizable amount of money. Because there aren't really things that just go wrong because they're broken, but you can make mistakes. You could leave a character off the address, they sent you the wrong wallet on the network. There's things that could go wrong. So it's always good to be sure before you send a larger amount of value. I think this is also just the difference between kind of decentralization and centralization, right? In the PayPal, you can call and contest a charge. You know what I mean? You can put somebody up and say, look, this is a bad actor, so I want to shut them down. But that's also what makes those things less attractive in a way, right? You're in a decentralized world. You have, you actually don't have those people who can shut down your account. This is the hard part, right? It's we have this world where, people get their PayPal accounts shut down. Totally legitimate people get their PayPal accounts shut down all the time.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I got a call a couple months ago from Ian Mackay from Minor Threat and Discord Records, because they released the Discord box set and they did so much revenue that PayPal shut their account down.
Yeah.
And this is you got punished for success.
Yes.
So that's the centralized world. Or you're in this decentralized world where, it's a little, it's a little more, it's a little less user friendly because it's not controlled by one public company that calls all the shots, right? So I think that's what you get when you're, that's the trade-off. Now, to your other question though, yes, I think that the user experience will get better. And I think that having both human readable accounts, but also verified accounts is going to be a big piece of that. So that is something that I think will come, and it'll change the game.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think at that point, I mean, at some point, there's going to have to be some checks and balances on the decentralized side because otherwise, if we're going to go truly mainstream, I mean, the risk reward seems still pretty high. And I'm sure you're seeing technology that shows that is coming in the near future because I'd assume people are building applications on top of blockchain right now to make this experience a little bit more seamless.
Yeah, I think look, everybody's working on it, and the good news is that when you have there's a lot of money in the spaces, a lot of investment, a lot in terms of venture investment, but also investment from brands and other people who are really in the business of like clean user experience.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of have both ends of the spectrum, right? This is again where you see the trade-off because you either get the closed world of NBA Top Shots, or you get the Wild West, and that's like in the early days of the internet. You would have the closed world of America Online, or you had the Wild West of the internet, and so it's just that thing playing out again. But we know how the story ends. The technology improves. People become more familiar. And let's be honest. It's not like the internet is perfect. Watching even my girlfriend, who is not as old as me, use applications on her phone sometime. I'm like, wow, I really user experience is hard. But that's normal. That's just progress. Every time I get in a rental car, I go through that like 30 minutes of, how the fuck does the cruise control work? You know what I mean? I think that's normal. User experience is hard.
Well, great. Parker, thank you for joining us. I know you're also, it's late night in Paris, but we wanted to hear your experience at NFT NYC. I know Ian couldn't make it out. So Ian's like, we should get Parker here. So boom, now you're here. How was it?
Wow, it was amazing. I can tell you, where it really hit home that it was like something really special for me was I had spent the afternoon with Kenzo Digital, who had just opened an exhibit in New York and it's at the top of one of the tallest buildings in New York City, and he has 2 floors of an art exhibit that's a permanent exhibit. And we were looking at some studios that help do some interactive work, and I had taken him and his creative director. I had taken a car back to the mid city, and I was when I got out of the car, I went into Saturday Surf Shop, and then right after that, my friend who introduced me to his name, Jonathan Paskowitz, walked into the surf shop, and when I was like ordering coffee and grabbed my ass. And then he was like, and then he whispered in my ear, he was like, "You didn't flinch, it's me." And I was like, "Oh, what's up, Jonathan?" And then he's like, I'm on the phone, I gotta go outside. He's like, okay. And then I walked outside, and walking down the street is Kenzo Digital. And I was just like, okay. And these guys had never met, and we had just been the whole time. I had just like raving to John and his wife. I was like, "You've got to go to see Kenzo's exhibit." And these were two of my most favorite people that Ian has introduced me to. That one are incredible artists, and then just incredible humans in their own right. And it had that like feeling of like, I was like, oh, I'm back at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like in the most random places. I'm like running into people that I love and I adore, and it's just randomly happening. And here we are. And like, we're actually, every conversation we'd all been having in the last 48 hours was like NFT related. So it's just like, that was like a real magical moment for me. I was like, this is actually the place to be as it relates to NFTs, and like, it's actually happening.
And so
from a culture.
Yeah. That's what I've heard from a lot of people. And you obviously being in the space and knowing the players in the space, what were projects that you saw that, you were like, wow, these guys are building something special? And not just from I would say not just from a community standpoint, from an investment standpoint, that you're like, wow, they're really ahead of the curve, or they're really onto something really interesting. Because I think discovery, like curated discovery in NFTs, is really freaking hard. Like there's
It's
so
really,
many.
it's really hard. And, so again, I gotta give hats off to Ian to this introducing me. So there was I went to an exhibit in Brooklyn, and it was put together by one of our friends who works at WME who's named Leslie, and it was an exhibit they had like worked with L'Oreal to highlight women that were making NFTs in the space, and it was an exhibit by Jen Stark. And so it was just like, it was super interesting. First of all, it was like 95% women. And it was like, when I think about like how brands were getting into the space, it felt like a super like, holy shit, like L'Oreal gets it. Like they're creating this like exhibit, which was incredible. I mean, Jen's art is just like incredible in its own right. Mm-hmm. They did a full-fledged interactive, like it was like 4 or 5 rooms, and it was like 3D maps for all of her art. And it just like really hit home that like, it was like, hey, look, like there's people in the space, and this is kind of to answer your question, like what was the most impactful was like, hey, look, there's brands that are working with people in the space, and particularly Leslie and WME, that are they're thinking about it in a super, like, I don't even want to call it progressive way. It feels kind of weird to me that I think of it as progressive, but they are. It's like they're thinking about it like, it's like, wow, there's like, women are artists, and women should have a space, and we're going to make space for women. And it's just like, so it felt really like just like one of the cooler things that was happening. And it felt like a really natural way for L'Oreal to get into the NFTs. And it felt really, really good just all around. Like it was like, and at that event, it was like, I met with Jen, and then I just met with a bunch of other artists that were, they definitely don't identify themselves as white male. And they were all like super excited about like just this idea that like, one, we were there representing Ledger, and Ledger was there, and like that there was this exhibit where like we could all come together. So it was just like, it was a really interesting and touching experience for me.
Got it. Yeah.
Hey, Parker, I have a question for you on how would you guess that the NYC event this year is like a moment in time? In other words, like obviously it was completely different than something that could have happened last year, but how do you think, like, how would you, if you had to guess, how would you expect it to be different next year?
So I think that like, look, it reminds me of, again, I'm going to use South by Southwest as an example, it's like, so it took, and Ian, I know you know this, and it's like, I feel like next year it's going to be like, we're going to be seeing the giant vending machine of some sort of product. And it's going to be like in the middle of New York. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to take 15 years. It's going to take like next year. Like it feels like it's going to, like, it felt like a zoo this year, but it's going to feel like a zoo next year. Like the title sponsor will be Google. It's just going to be complete. Like, I mean, it's like, it felt nonstop this year, but I feel like that the amount of brands that will jump in and sponsorships and just the events in general will become the public. So what will happen is that the awareness of what NFTs are and how brands are involved will just like show up in force next year. And it won't, and like in the case of like South by Southwest and music, it took that team in South by Southwest maturing for 20 plus years. And, it almost took like what happened in the Pacific Northwest and that explosion of indie rock. And then that explosion of indie rock, like actually then turned like, just like South by Southwest just like blew up after that. And I think that this like that sort of that arc that we've seen in music, and particularly like indie, going from like post-punk to punk, post-punk to new wave to now indie rock, is like that curve took 20 plus years. And I think that what's going to happen in NFTs is it's going to be compressed into less than 18 months.
Actually, to your point, I feel like it may not even be next year. It may be in 3 weeks at Art Basel. Like Art Basel might be like 10 times bigger because of NFT New York. Because like everyone I know that's talking about Art Basel is already saying like, we have a huge NFT event. We have a huge this event. We have that. So, that's already a spectacle as is. Now you sprinkle in the richest people in the world. It should be like, it may happen in December.
It could. Me and Ian are both like, how the fuck are we gonna get there?
No, I'm so happy to sit these things out. I'm old, man. I'm old.
Dude, I'm only a year younger than you.
You'll never be as old as me.
But yeah, I mean, I think, then we should do a group chat ledger Art Basel event.
There you go.
There we go.
But yeah, I think to your point, it's obviously moving at a very, very fast pace. So like, Parker, how did you feel? You're obviously on the inside of this whole community and understand what's going on. The people listening at home probably have FOMO and want to participate. How did you walk away of like, how does the average person participate in this explosion?
That's a really good question. It's a really, really good question.
I think I'll preface it by saying that Parker and I are kind of contrarians here. I think, you got to remember that Parker and I come from music and independent music and, Parker being a musician and me being a skateboarder, like we talked about in the last time. It's like, so we definitely like aren't doing the same thing. Like we're not, the answer to us is never like follow what everyone else is doing.
Yep.
The answer to us is always like, wait, let's go a level deeper and try to imagine what this will be in 10 years and then participate in that. I get tips on, hot drops and I don't even act on them because I don't really know what that value is going to be, a year from now. And there's just other places I'd like to, that I'd spend my energy, and I only invest in things that I like truly understand and really give a shit about. But I think what I would say to people is, just learn, like jump into Discords, spend time with communities. Fundamentally, this is about, like being a part of something, being a part of a movement or a community. And if you do that, then I think, and you have a nose, you know what I mean? You're going to figure out like, oh, this is something that's not. So I think the main thing I would say to people is don't be downstream of the news, be like in it. And the only way to be in it is to, join Discords, make friends, be on group chats with friends about NFTs. I like that to me really is the answer. If you're like, if you're just getting the hot tip from somebody who got the hot tip from somebody who got the hot tip from somebody who got the hot tip from 100 people ago, I mean, forget it. You're not really going to be anywhere. So I think the main thing is like, whomever you are, just dive in and learn. I mean, it's like any culture, right? It's like sneaker culture. It's like music culture. Like you got to just be in it. Like you can't read about it in the Wall Street Journal. By the time you read about, CryptoPunks or Bored Apes in the Wall Street Journal, like it's already like train left the station months ago. Yeah. You got to be, in on something early and have some conviction. Someone was just saying to me, like all the best art collectors collected, stuff that they loved.
That's right.
Most of it was worth nothing, but there were a couple things that like made the day, right? I think you want to be that kind of collector. If you're trading JPEGs like you're trading stocks, man, I'd say like just lock up some ETH and let it ride. Right. A much better advice would be like, as Balaji says, right? Buy some Ethereum, move to the country, take care of your health. That's much better advice than like jump in and like start day trading JPEGs. Like I don't, but I think that if you're really like a part of communities, then you can kill.
And I think that was
better advice. Or if you disagree with me, Parker, hit me.
No. I think that was exactly. It was very eloquently as I was gonna more eloquent than I think I was gonna explain it. Because I think that like to the community point, right? It's like you can read. It's like we all read like magazines about the music that was coming and the reviews, and I think that like that's what you can do today. To your point of like if music's a little different because all the people that wrote about music aren't the New York Times, right? They were in it, and so we're really close back when we were reading about music, especially like on Pitchfork. The people doing it are really, really close to the music world, and I think that like today, like if you do learn just a little bit, right? What I do know and what I did experience in New York is that people need help. And the people that need help are the people that are like the groups that are like Crypto Venetians that are doing the sort of the minting on site for people in person.
Yeah.
There's many of these groups that are taking like the online experience and putting it in real life. And I believe that there's real power in this around one, educating people, and also like bringing it into as Barlow calls it, meat space. And I think that those groups, from what I've seen, are like they need help. Like they're just there's like it's growing so fast that like any and all, if someone were to like and we're doing this at Ledger, by the way, but like if anybody was just like I could help, and I don't want to speak for Crypto Venetians in that group, but I'm pretty sure that if you were like, I'm very interested in what you're doing, and I'd just like to help you out while you go do this in New York over the next month, they'd probably give you the time of day and be like, yeah, we actually need your help. We actually need people on the ground to help us do this. And I think that if you look at Basel in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if I was a young kid and I was like, fuck, I don't know. Look, this reminds me of this. I remember that like when I was like, I had got my first Mac in 1984. And I know that like all through my like childhood, I was like, how the fuck do I get into computers? Like, how the fuck do I do this? And I look at ads in the newspaper, and it was just like, hardware sales, software sales. And by the way, when in 1987, like that didn't mean anything to me as a child. Hardware sales, like what the fuck is that? And then as I got older, it was like it just kept doing it. I'm just like, how do I use Paint Shop? How do I use all of these applications that I grew up learning on a Mac? And like, where do I get a job? And it was just like you couldn't find the jobs. And I think that's true today of this industry. It's like you can't go find a job in this thing today. What you have to do is go, who's doing the work? Who do I like? And then how do I go find them to go work with them? And that's like back to like what I had to do like in the late 90s. I was like, dude, I really want to fucking go do this work. It's all happening in San Francisco. So I moved to San Francisco, and sure enough, I got a job using Photoshop. There was no jobs in Texas using Photoshop. Right, I had to go to the place where like Photoshop was being used to create ads and to create digital stuff, and it was like, I got hired in a BART station because it was like that's what people were doing in San Francisco with computers. And so I think this is true of this same thing. It's like if you're a kid, it's like, and I think about like what's about to happen in Basel. It's like no guarantees here, but it's just like I know that I'd be looking like, how the fuck do I get to Miami? How the fuck do I help one of these projects that's going to be on the ground? It's like there's going to be hundreds of things that are happening, and they're going to all of those projects that are in Miami need help. I guarantee you.
Yeah,
I love that. I totally agree. I think that and that's it. That's what's gonna separate and the difference is that you don't have to go to San Francisco to do this anymore, because we're the other interesting thing about this space is that the interesting projects aren't happening in California. For the first time in my kind of life in the world of computers, like this is truly global. You got people all over the world, wherever they are. Like this is you're feeling how borderless the world is becoming in this NFT space. It's amazing. But I know you wanted to touch on DeFi stuff for a second too, D, and I need to go in a sec. But I actually wanted to just share you with a quick story that happened to me over the past week with you guys, and my friend Amanda DeCadney has been texting me while I've been sitting here, and we've been talking about an NFT thing, of course, because what else do you talk about? Yeah. I hit up I don't know if you know Tableau from Epic High. There's this incredible. They're basically he's probably going to kill me for saying this. I think it's safe to say they're the Korean Cypress Hill.
Okay, nice.
Anyway, Epic High. So, but I hit Tableau, and I think this is the best. Everybody should do this whenever they text someone. Just start the conversation by saying, "How's your NFT project going?" My second line was, "I don't even know if you have an NFT project," but I just start all conversations that way now. But anyway, so I'm texting with Amanda, who I've known since 1996. I think I met her at the Tibetan Freedom Concert. She's asking, we're talking about NFTs, and I'm going to tell this story that I was going to tell her here. So you guys can, because I think it's like, to me, again, it comes back to jump into it, try something. There's a great artist in Estonia named Erkki Merlia. And he had a big exhibition at Fotografiska. He's this incredible iconoclastic artist that right after Estonia became an independent nation, they were making super challenging art. And so, maybe I'll send you a link and you can link to some of his work. Yeah. But, I was talking to him in Tallinn a couple weeks ago, and he was like, I really am just not sure how to get started, but he has tons of amazing work. Well, one day he just started sending me links on Rarible, and I just started buying them. And he was like, Ian, stop it. Like, I was trying to show you that I was like jumping into this. I didn't mean for you to collect them. Right. But so here I was collecting, somebody that, that has never been collected by anyone else. Like, I'm his first, collector. And it's a longer story than that because, there was a particular photo that I wanted, and, he had said he would gift it to me. But I realized in this that I didn't want him to gift it to me because, as human beings, we love a value exchange, and it's art. And, if it's on chain, that means people are going to look at my account and see its value. I actually want it to have value, right? The interesting thing about all this, though, is the way it makes you feel. Because I think someone could say, I honestly don't understand why someone would want to collect a JPEG. I honestly don't understand why someone would want to look at art on their phone. But that's like saying, I don't understand why someone would want to look at Instagram, right? That's like saying, I don't understand why someone would want a value exchange with an artist who they respect. So that's why, really, more than anything else, I just say to everybody, and I don't care if it's an executive at LVMH or a 20-year-old kid, just try it. Just like jump in, try some things, and see how it makes you feel. Yeah. Like, does it make you feel? Do you find yourself like going back to your wallet to look at it and just see it sitting there? Like, and then like puzzle through that, wow, how is it that a JPEG on my phone can make me feel this way? Yeah. And so if you've never done it, also don't talk about it. Please. This is my directive to anyone who has never done it. If you've never done it, shut the fuck up. Right? Until you do it, you're not allowed to talk about it. It's off limits to you. It's just like when executives at LVMH they read an article in Wall Street Journal about Snapchat, and they want to come talk to me about it. I'd say, do me a favor, go download Snapchat, use it for a week, and then come back to my office and talk to me about it. Yeah. Because unless you have done it, you have no right to talk about it. Okay, so that's my public service announcement. I'm done. And Amanda, I love you, and I hope you appreciate the shout out. I'm not picking on you.
That's amazing. I think on that note, everyone, shut the fuck up. Go try and go try it. I agree. I mean, you can't question everything. You got to just dive in and just try these things. Buy your first piece of cryptocurrency on Ledger Live. Go store your NFT. Get it in your wallet, and like you have to do all these things. As soon as I started doing it, then I was like, holy shit. This thing's insane. But until you do it.
You have a right to talk about it. Look, when I was in Tallinn, I also had an experience where an entrepreneur I got introduced to at lunch, he was pissed, like visibly pissed. He was like, your connection with MetaMask sucks. Like the amount of hours you've cost me in the past 5 months. And this guy, he was right. He was right to say that. And I was glad that I got to tell him, dude, wait a week and it's going to be fixed. And I was literally texting him like every step of the way, telling him like, okay, the MetaMask fix comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like that's the other end of the spectrum. Like that's someone who's so deep, they know exactly where the pain points are.
Yep.
And then, you get inspired to get involved and fix these things and be a part of the community and be a contributor. And that's where like sparks fly and you end up, you end up a part of the solution.
Amazing.
That's
Amen
right.
to that. Well, thank you guys. I know it's late in Paris. I appreciate your time. And I guess we'll catch up in a few weeks. Hopefully post Art Basel, because I'm sure the entire world would have changed by then.
Yeah. I can tell you what I read about Art Basel in the paper by then.
Okay, exactly. Well, I might go, so I could be a live reporter for you guys.
Yeah, man. Go, please. I love it when you go down to those things and you give the recap. That's how I actually. You know this already. Like the reason I listen to Group Chat is because I don't live in LA anymore, and I don't really want to be a part of kind of the LA bubble, but I also don't want to be completely disconnected. So I have found a very happy balance living in Paris, drinking French and Italian wine, and listening to Group Chat. It's perfect because I get my I get tapped in to the LA bubble, but I don't have to, listen to anyone at Deus talk about, the cannabis company they're starting, like we talked about last time.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We'll catch up soon.
All right, cool, man. Nice to see you.
Thank you for inviting.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that extra long episode of Group Chat. We will be back on Thursday. Happy Hump Day.